friends, it's Claire from ScrappyNerdUK and welcome to the next instalment of December Daily Directory. So this is DIY filler cards part 2. So in the last video I showed you how to make filler cards using just some white cardstock with some stamping techniques, and with this part I'm going to show you how to start prepping some filler cards using pattern paper and also cut files. So here I'm just going through my paper pad. Now a 6x8 paper pad is brilliant if you're working in a 6x8 album, because all I'm doing here is I'm cutting the cardstock in half at 4 inches, and then in half one of the sides I'm cutting it in half again to make 2 3x4 cards. So this pattern paper is actually patterned both sides, which is perfect, so you can mix and match which side that you want to use. So I'm going to commit to actually including some numbers on these cards. So I've picked out there the 12 and the 21, and I'm using the Schimel thickers, and I'm just stamping out the word December onto some white cardstock. And that first one didn't go to plan, but that's the great thing with stamps, you can always go again. And I'm going to stick that down just with some double-sided tape. Now I'm going to do the same in this video as what I did in the last. So we're going to start with basic embellishments, and then I'm going to add some more bits in as I go along. So that's that card for the minute, just popped out of the way, and I've done exactly the same with that card there. So here I'm just going to go back then and add on a couple of wood buttons to these cards here. Now these wood buttons, they are also from Schimel. They don't have, some of the wood buttons have the little foam adhesive dot on the back, but these ones don't, but I still think they're going to be quite bulky in the pockets. So what I will do is when I actually go to include them in the album, is I'll probably take the wood button off and I'll stick it to the outside of the pocket, so actually onto the plastic page protector, because that will stop the page protector from warping. So this one here is really simple, a little bit of washi tape and then the word joy, which is a red chipboard piece from my stash. Next I have this little coffee cup or hot chocolate cup, and one of the stories that I tell pretty much every time I do this is about the Christmas hot chocolates in Costa or Starbucks, wherever you go. I love the Black Forest hot chocolate from Costa Coffee. It's one of my favourite things to get every single year. So I know that I'm going to want a card to tell the story of the hot chocolate. And so I'm just using this stamp from Ali Edwards. I can't say Ali Edwards without getting it wrong. I don't know what's wrong with me. Ali Edwards. And I just stamped on the word there, this story, kept it nice and plain. And I did look to add that chipboard piece on one of the pattern sides, but I thought it looked a lot better on the plane of the reverse of that card. So next up I have another little chipboard piece. I think these ones are from Simple Story. So if you haven't seen my kit video, then it's in the playlist. You can actually go and have a look at what exactly I'm using. And it is a mix match of stash. So I do have a fair bit of the Snow and Cocoa, and I also have a fair bit of the Holly Jolly Christmas by Bella Boulevard. In addition to that though, I do have these, for instance, chipboard pieces, and some puffy stickers from the Christmas collection that came out in Hobbycraft last year. I can't remember the name of it, but it had all of these little animals in. So it had a flamingo looking all Christmassy, and it had this little polar bear that you can see on the other card as well. So all of these bits and pieces have been sort of pulled together. The colours all work perfectly well. The greens are slightly off, but it's not really going to bother me. As I said, I'm trying to embrace the use of green in my December daily, because green is a Christmas colour, right? So I am trying to overcome my fear of using some colours that just do not get used. And so on to the next card here. So that one's very simple. That Merry and Bright chipboard piece in the middle a little Christmas word sticker, and I've popped a tab on the top. So I want things to sort of come out of the pockets as well as sort of remain in. So adding tabs onto the top of the little 3x4 cards is a great way of doing that. Now I also add tabs in if I want hidden journaling. So obviously I don't stick them to the actual 3x4 card. But adding a tab in to journaling in the middle of the front and the back of the pocket, if that makes sense. And you'll see that as I actually come to do my album. So if you've got something that you don't particularly want on display, then you can pop the journaling in and hide it behind your cards. So that one there I've just done is a little polar bear. I've cut up a tiny word sticker, that's from the Snow and Cocoa sticker sheet, and added on a little snowflake puffy sticker. So that was pretty much done. So nice, quick, simple, easy. And for me, I know that you're going to have some foundation pages coming up this week as well. But for me, this forms part of the foundation pages anyway. So rather than sitting down and going through day one, okay, I'm going to make a card for that and add that in. All I'm doing here is I'm just bulk making a whole load of different cards. And then when I come to put my foundation pages together, they're all ready, they're all done. I can just mix and match which cards I want to put which cards I want to put where. Of course, if I've used a number, then that is going to have to go on that day. But this is how I'm working. And this is slightly different for me this year because generally I do the foundation pages one day at a time as I go along, start from the beginning. But I want to trial it this way to see whether this is more successful. It has been. I mean, I sat down and made the filler cards that you saw in yesterday's video and these filler cards in a couple of hours. So this was the bulk of my embellishing done. Whether this is going to be enough for my album, I'm not sure yet until I start putting it together. If I discover it's not, then I can always make some more and add them in. And I want some full 6x8 pages to go in my album anyway. So obviously I don't need to cut the paper down for that. Now, if you are using a 6x6 paper pad, you can still make these filler cards, but obviously you're going to end up having either a 4x6 card and then a little 2x6 strip left. Or you can make two 3x4 cards out of it. Again, you're going to end up with the same size strip left. So there, that card was nice and simple. The Christmas tree on the circle and tree time, which is just an ephemera piece. And that's left me a bit of room to be able to add a photo or a bit of room to be able to add some journaling in. So I might sort of type some journaling out and add it onto that card, but that gives me the room in order to be able to do that. So filler cards are great to do exactly what they are labelled as filler cards. They will fill your album with prettiness, but you can use some space on the filler cards if you choose to add in your journaling as well. So this one here, I've just torn some strips of washi and added a tiny word sticker over the top and then popped the number 9. So that will be my day 9. Acetate's another great way you can get your acetate used up. If you layer it over some pattern paper, just like this. And for me, add staples in if it comes to the acetate, because I don't like the look of the tape behind, the double-sided tape behind it. You can, if you have a Xyron and the acetate is small enough, you could pop it through your Xyron, and that puts an even layer of double-sided tape on the back of it. I tried to put it through the Xyron, but that ephemera, that piece there was actually too big. So I just went with a few staples. So this one here, day 11, I'm just adding in these gold stars and pop the 11 in the middle. And to me, it didn't quite seem done. So I'm just pulling in these little red tiny word stickers, and I'm going to add one into each of those star clusters. And I am much happier with that card. Oh, and that little Merry Christmas banner at the bottom, that was from a sticker sheet from my mind's eye. Next up, this little chipboard piece that says Merry Christmas, and that card is done. Nice and simple. The pattern paper's done the hard work for me. So onto this one here, I'm going to use some numbers again, and these are the pink paisley Merry and Bright numbers from quite a few years ago now. As I said, I want to try and mix and match the numbers, the different numbers that I have sort of either knocking around in my stash or ones that I bought specifically for December Daily. So these are little paperclip numbers that came in an old Studio Calico kit. And I'm going to get the as many of these used up as I can. So the number 17, so just cut 2 little slots into the card and clipped those 2 on there. Next up, now this sticker sheet is very wintry. It has a lot of sayings on there. For instance, it's chilly outside, let's make snow angels, winter time is the best time. So there's a lot of winter themed and not so Christmassy themed tiny words on this sticker sheet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the most of it, and I'm going to pull as many of these stickers that will fit down the left hand side, a bit like the card that I did with all the word stamps, where I stamped it down the right. So I'm almost going to mirror that by adding all these tiny word stickers in down the left hand side. And I've chosen the pink side to do this on because that gives me I haven't got a pattern paper in the background interfering with the words on there. And then it just felt a little bit unfinished, so I added on that Winter Wonderland chipboard piece. And these are the cards that I've created. So next up, we're going to have a look at using cut files in the album as well. Now, if you've seen my DIY Traveller's Notebook, which is also in this series, and if you haven't seen that and you are interested in watching it, please go to the playlist, the December Daily playlist. All of the videos are linked in there. And so I have used these cut files in a traveller's notebook, but I wanted to show them and demonstrate them in the 6x8 pocket page album as well. So all I've done is I've cut that snowman cut file down to a 3x4 inch size, and I've backed it with some paper from the Snow and Cocoa paper pad. And these cut files here are from Pretty My Page, and Pretty My Page is a UK company that offer digital and pre-cut cut files. They do Paige Evans ones as well, which I absolutely gush over every time I see them. But these are the Christmas, or some of the Christmas ones that are available. And so if you don't have a die cut machine, you can purchase the pre-cut ones. But mainly you can just purchase the digital download. So if you have a Cricut or you have a Silhouette, you can actually just buy the digital cut file and cut it yourself at home. And you can cut it as many times as you like. So that snowman there, back to what I was doing, that snowman there, it just got a bit lost on that pattern paper. It probably wasn't the best pattern paper to use. So what I did is just used a fine line pen to go around the outside. I added some glue into where his scarf is, and just added on this little joy and happiness tiny word sticker. So next up, we are going with another 3x4 card, and I believe the snowman and the Let It Snow cut files come as a set. I think you get both of them together. So I'm just doing exactly the same thing and cutting this down. So because these are rectangle shape, it does mean that they'll actually scale up to 6x8 size as well. So if you wanted to include this on a bigger scale in a 6x8 page, it'll work also. So next I'm just adding in this little wood button, and I know that it's covering up that snowflake on the card, but it did seem to fit perfect there. And then I'm going to add in a coordinating sort of greenish, tealish colour sticker that says Wonderland. Next on to this cup cut file. So in the shop at the moment, there are these cup cut files. And I'm going to be using quite a few of these for my days. So here's day number 10. Oh, by the way, I will link the shop down below for you. So if you want to go and take a look, there'll be a link down in the description box. So this one here, I've cut down a piece of acetate to the same size as the pocket. Just be careful to make it a bit bigger than the 6x8 because obviously you need to add on room for the hole punch as well. So just measure out a pocket page to make sure you've got the right size. And then I've just stuck that down with some double-sided tape. What I will do is I'm going to cut another one and I'm going to back it the other side so you can't see the tape. And then the last one I think I'm looking at is this star cut file. This one I have scaled up to 6x8, and I've just run some glue around the side of it, and then I've laid it over this acetate, which is absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to make this the page for Christmas Eve. So I'm adding on my numbers now, 24. And I'm not sure at this stage whether I'm going to go up any further than Boxing Day. So I'm going to have to play it by ear on that, because I am actually off all the way over Christmas and New Year. So we'll have to see. Now I popped that back in the album, but I did decide I was going to add this sticker on that says "'Twas the night before Christmas," because obviously that worked perfectly. And that goes in. Now I'm going to give you a really cheeky, sneaky flip through of where I'm at so far. So there we have the number 2. We have the cut file there with the cup. And we have another cut file cup, number 22. And we have the little Let It Snow. And we have the star cut file. And then we have the snowman one last. So I hope this has brought you inspiration. If it has, please give this video a thumbs up. It's much appreciated. Leave any comments down below. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.